I recall the previous administration where the president was saying that some of the state governors do not, just give certain percentage of the allocation to the local governments, and most of the projects they embark on rather, do not directly affect the people. That's why we still have this matter of dimensional poverty, having 133 million Nigerians under that level of dimensional poverty, multidimensional poverty, and all of it. What would be perhaps your message to other state governments? Because the president had to call out state governors, implement this wage awards so that Nigerians can, get that buffer that they need at this time. And some Nigerians were saying the president did not even need to call these persons out, that they should know what to do. They should understand the pains the people are feeling at this point. And with the efforts we have seen from Ibejileki now, I believe that the people at the grassroots are feeling the impact of the government as it is. But that's not happening in some other state governments. What is your admonition, if I may use that word, to other state governments where people are not feeling this impact as much as Lagos State is doing?
Well, my advice to them would be to work very strongly with the local government. The local government are the taproots. No matter the effort the state government or federal government puts in, if you don't key into the local government very well, it's like throwing a coin in the sea. You understand? Because the local government is the closest, right? And they can decimate, distribute opportunities and take care of their people better. Not just providing funds for them. You must also provide structural support for them. Take, for instance, I saw the governor of Niger State, coming out with a very wonderful program, right, and all of that. I saw two major things. I saw the machinery. I saw the airport infrastructure, which again take away the food out, get foreign capital that is required. But there are some also key gaps. I've not studied it very well, right? You need to also put in your local government there, bring in some structural support through your academic institutions, right? For instance, if they have a University of Agriculture, for instance, link it towards that. If you don't have, work with IITA, you understand, to create support for the local farmers. Create a hub, you understand, to store this food and become the off-takers. That was one of the things that the FADAMA was doing for the local governments at that time. So when you put the fund, because we want to cut down this teething stage whereby some funds can, be wasted through trials and all of these things. So these structural institutions become a backbone to support the activity of these people, and you have a very strong end product. And while I was there as chairman of local government, there are some government institutions that you cannot just knock away. For instance, the NYSC. A lot of local government do not know how to partner with the NYSC. When I came in as chairman, I only had one doctor, right? One doctor and one engineer. And we had a press and information unit. In order to cascade their capacity, I went into discussion with the NYSC that, look, can you give me 50 doctors? And they told me they don't have enough. For every 50 doctors, they will give you other field of study. And what did I do with them? I got them. They gave me about 250 core members. Took some that I know that I don't really have a need for them in our departments, right? But I do need them in the educational sector, in the primary school, because we didn't have enough teachers. Right. So I got in an education consultant who was a former principal at one of the schools to train them in tandem with the module of teaching, and we put them in our primary school. So when he was talking about creating incentive to those schools for their running cost, we didn't have gardeners in our school, right? I brought in two sweepers and one gardener, and of course the structural support of the running cost. Then created air condition in the head teacher's office, swivel chairs and all of that, good chairs, renovated 22 primary schools and built more. And free uniform, free books. You understand? The performance went high because I could use them. Then in the area of health too, the army, they do have intern nurses right, spoke to the Nigerian army at the Ojo military cantonment. They sent in their intern at no cost, right? And what I just do for the NYSC? Collaboration. It reduces cost. And what did I do with the NYSC? You are giving them a pay, I think in my own time was about 12,000 or what have you. For the teachers, if you decide to stay at the Riverine, I give you 50,000. At the upland, 70,000. Doctor at the Riverine, 100,000. At the upland, 70,000. My engineers were 50,000. Work in the media department, you get 70,000 and all of that. And I had 250, right? My wage bill for the NYSC core members then was around 7 million naira thereabout, which was huge between 2008 to 2014. And when they are going, I will organize lavish party, either a golden tulip then or what have you, and give incentives, right? And all of this. So there are institutions that government can partner with within the federal government, you understand, platform, and work directly with the local government. It will showcase the strength of the state, and there is also a political face to it. Really? I normally call it political economy, because if you work very well for your people, they will keep you in power. You don't need to beg them. Right. And you can also harvest data, right? You see the prevalence diseases that are going on in terms of security. We were creating a newsletter then, we call it the Praising. We're producing 10,000 copies every week. So what do you think will go into those 10,000 copies? 4-page Praising, A4. So you need to be doing something we put in there. They know what is happening in terms of infrastructure. They know what is happening in terms of
people
health.
are informed.
The people are informed.
Right.
Then we have the Herald.
Right.
It's a colorful magazine that looks like what Ayodele Momodu produces, the Ovation magazine and all of that. It comes out every 3 months. So the compendium of what has been happening every week, you see it, right? The people are carried along. Then the NATAD, the mechanics, I know that in the environmental department, I didn't have enough hands. They do have their monthly, I think monthly environmental sanitation or what have you on a Thursdays. You can imagine about 2,000, 3,000 people, you distribute them to where they need to work, and they do all of that. And we were also working with the World Climate Change Forum through the UN, and they were planting trees and many of these things. So state government must not neglect their local government. They need to work in tandem with them, give them a lot of support, because most departments in the local government don't have enough hands in terms of professionals, right? So we have to also work with the Rotary Club, work with the Lions Club, work with the Society of Engineers. You understand? For instance, my engineer, I had just one engineer, right? One engineer will not cover for mechanical, for electrical, and all of these things. Then we work with the core members. Right. So that one engineer will supervise whatever they are doing, and everybody go home very happy. You understand? So that's the thing.
Right. So perhaps one last question to ask you with regards to some of the things he has said. If you're looking at collaboration, or if you're even already collaborating with some of these, like NYSC and some other agencies of government that he mentioned.
Yeah, there's strong collaboration. You know, like we said, governance requires, you know, team building, teamwork, and all of that. So, and in view of the scarce resources everywhere, you will need to leverage on certain, you know, competencies from other institutions to be able to deliver on some of the mandates that you have. So in terms of partnership, we have partnership with NYSC, you know, particularly in the area of medical personnel, like he mentioned. One of the challenges we're facing right now in Nigeria is the JAPA syndrome. A lot of our, you know, medical doctors they're not staying. Okay, so there's a shortfall, you know, in that sector. So definitely the NYSC is more or less, you know, a ready-made pool for us to identify some of those medical professionals and use them. So we're doing that with the NYSC. Also, the synergy between the local government and the state government is very strong here in Lagos State. 2 weeks ago, I was with the Commissioner for Agriculture. We were in some of our riverine communities to identify areas where we can do the outgrower scheme that I mentioned. You know, so if there is no synergy between the state and local, some of the problems we've identified, will not be able to deal with them. Absolutely. So I agree 100% with the comrade that State government must work with local government.